sub-region. So it's important we exercise a great deal of circumspection in the way we approach this. Like I indicated,
you think Jammeh recognizes this and is actually playing with it and making everybody uncertain?
Well, indeed. I mean, historically, this is a man that has been in power from the age of 29.
He knows nothing else.
Exactly. And he has established such a foothold in the country. And trust me, I've spoken with some few Gambians who have told me that this gentleman has a bearing, he has influence on almost every aspect of Gambian life. And indeed, he has his followers down there. So, I mean, it's important we look at it with a great deal of circumspection. Yeah. We could explore the sanctions regime, trade embargoes, I mean, other economic sanctions, and even travel restrictions imposed on Yahya Jammeh and his inner circle. I think when this is done, it would send a clear signal to him that we really mean business and we're not going to treat you with kid gloves.
Do you think he's going to fight back, especially as ECOWAS forces are moving into the Gambia? And we're hearing reports that they faced less resistance as they progress. You think Jammeh will be waiting in ambush for them?
Well, the only predictable thing about Yahya Jammeh is his unpredictability. It will be very hard to tell. And let us not make a mistake. Exactly. And underestimate. Think it's going to be a walk in the park. No, it can go way beyond that. Considering the fact that Gambia is relatively a small country of a landmass of about 10,000 square kilometers as compared to Ghana, which is about 240,000 square kilometers. That means Ghana is about 24 times bigger than Gambia. I mean, with a military might of 2,500 personnel. Let us not underestimate, because my biggest fear is that it could get protracted. I mean, they could sit back and ECOWAS troops would go in there, then they could wage an insurgency or a guerrilla warfare like we had the insurgency in Iraq. I mean, in 2004, after the Americans went into Baghdad without resistance, they came back and hit America so hard that to date it's even influencing American politics. So it's important we recognize all this and treat it with the greatest deal of circumspection it requires. I think we can still explore more of the diplomatic solutions. But let me state that this is not the first time ECOMOG is intervening. I mean, though in some of the cases, the context is quite different. For example, in Liberia, when the war broke out in 1989, that is actually what prompted the formation of the military arm of ECOWAS, which was put together in 1975. But the military arm, the ECOMOG, was put together in Banjul, Gambia, in 1992 as a result of what was going on in Liberia. And the first commanding officer of the force is Lieutenant General Arnold Quenu, who is a Ghanaian. So they intervened in 1992 in Liberia. In 1997, when General Johnny Paul Kuroma of the Armed Forces Revolutionary Council of Sierra Leone, in connivance with the Revolutionary United Front led by Fodi Sanko, took over the reins of power in Sierra Leone, ECOMOG intervened. They thought it was going to be easy, but it was protracted up until 1999 when a window of diplomacy was given a chance. Then we had the signing of the Lomé Peace Accord, but the parties didn't show any sign of commitment. And we even had the British committing about 200 troops into Sierra Leone in 2000.
So in fact, what you're saying is that ECOMOG has come a very long way, and they may the force might have learned a lot on the way, and you think it's better prepared for the Gambia situation, that it will use a military force as a last resort.
Exactly, because I hear many people out there talking about let's go dislodge him, let's go dislodge him.
It won't be easy.
Let us look at the issue holistically. I mean, it is said that no war is ever too good and no peace is ever too bad. I mean, we know the effects of war, the repercussions it has on the citizens with the gross human rights violations that comes to play. I mean, deep down, the hearts of the people, they will still be in a state of conflict. And intriguingly, in Africa, because of the closely knit nature of our societies, it has a tendency to spill over to other countries, like we had in 1994 in Rwanda, spilling over to Burundi. We had in Liberia spilling over to Sierra Leone. And between 2010 and 2011, we had the Ivorian crisis spilling over to Liberia. Gambia wider West African sub-region.
Right, Mr. Sani Adiba, we're grateful for your time. Thank you very much for coming. Sani Adiba is a security analyst, and he threw very interesting perspectives on this Gambian situation. Let's